partner is upset at me for bringing up a prenup. My partner feels it an attack on their character. We're currently in the stage of our relationship where we're talking about marriage. I purchased a house a few months after we started dating, and we have been living together for 2.5 years now. I'm now looking to buy a second home and renting out my current house. We were having a conversation about investments, and my partner asked if the next house will be Muskie Archer's house or our house. I said that it would be mine, as I will be fronting all the money. She's currently in grad school, and I insisted that she not contribute to rent in our current home, and rather focus on school and interning now. My parents are not citizens and will not rely on any form of social security for retirement, and my investments are meant to help ease them through retirement. I want to ensure that the investments I'm making will help my parents through retirement and are protected from any unforeseen circumstances in the future. My partner and I are very good at conflict resolution, and we trust each other completely. But we're having a hard time seeing eye to eye on this one. My partner believes that my desire for a prenup is fundamentally a lack of trust. She believes that it is a legally binding agreement that protects my investments from her, therefore demonstrating a lack of trust. However, I see it as ensuring my parents have a financial safety net. I don't know what to ask, really. I don't want help convincing her to my side. I suppose I just want your thoughts. No couple ever expects to break up or get divorced. They never expect to hate each other. They never expect their partner to be vindictive. A good prenup protects both partners, and it's best to get one while you're both on the best possible terms with each other. When you do trust each other, ask any divorce lawyer and they will tell you that every couple should have a prenup. Deal with the potential issues now before they actually become problems, and hopefully they never will. But we can't always predict how our relationships will turn out. Work together with a lawyer to find terms of a prenup that work for both of you. It's protecting your assets in the same way an insurance policy does. You don't buy fire insurance on your house because you expect it to burn down. You buy fire insurance just in case it burns down. That's what a prenup is. Insurance against potential future issues, even if they seem unlikely now. It's not about trust, it's about common sense financial planning for both of you. If you remain a couple, it's a non-issue. If you don't, you're protecting your pre-marriage assets to assure your parents are taken care of. I love and trust you, but this is a prerequisite for me getting married to anyone. No one gets into a car planning to crash it, but we still buckle our seatbelts. Prenups are there to protect you from unforeseen circumstances. This might be harsh, but if I asked a partner for a prenuptial agreement and they said it was because I didn't trust them, I would immediately start to not trust them. Regardless of the agreement, you would have financial obligations to your partner if you were to split up. Marriage is basically a prenup on its own. If you break up, the government decides how things will be split. A prenup where you have your lawyer put in your terms and she has her own lawyer to negotiate from. Her side will give you a custom option in place of the government default option. Since you both love each other, and you'd both have professional legal counsel taking your needs into account, it will be more fair to both of you if the worst were to happen. What if you got in a car wreck, suffered brain damage that made you abusive, and she had to leave? Wouldn't she want to make sure the prenup had protections for her too? I understand the emotional side of these kinds of things. But the truth is that if you are established and have plans in place which other people depend on, then your feelings about the relationship aren't the only feelings to take into account when deciding on a prenup. I think, if you own a family or personal business in part or in whole, and are counted on to keep it in the family, a prenup should be a given. If you have children who have established college or other funds accessible in your name, a prenup should be a given to ensure they are not taken in a divorce by someone who is not their parent. If you take care of extended family by owning certain real estate and/or investments, then a prenup should be a given to ensure they are not taken in a divorce, leaving your family destitute. If there is a huge income and asset disparity, I think asking for a prenup is fair and should be expected. If one partner is going to be a SAHP, then I think they would be smart to write up a prenup which sees they transition smoothly to going back to the workforce. None of these is an accusation of gold digging, cheating, or dishonestly. None of these is a statement of, we will fail. The first three are simply saying, there are too many people counting on me for me to feel like I have the right to take any chance, no matter how small, on their behalf, and if your partner can't respect that, then I think it's worth walking away over. The last two are two edges of the same sword, showing how a document like this can protect parties at both ends of the financial spectrum to feel secure in how they arrange their marriage. The prenup is fine, but y'all should discuss what assets you want to make or build together. That might help not feel left out. Everyone here is championing prenups. But don't forget that getting a prenup can be the exact right thing to do and can also cause some hurt feelings. It's not mutually exclusive. Logic and emotions don't always run in perfect parallel. It doesn't mean your GF is a gold digger or a bad person if this request stung a bit. I am no gold digger either, and entirely embrace the idea of prenups as a good thing to do. And at the same time, I could easily imagine having some hurt feelings if my fiancé asked for one. I think in talking with her about this, you should remember that logic arguments may not be particularly effective if the wound is emotional. You need to address what's really causing the hurt. Did the request make her wonder if you don't think she can be trusted to be fair to you? Does it make her wonder if your commitment to the marriage isn't as strong as she thought it was? Is she scared that you might not be planning an agreement that is fair to you both, but perhaps angling towards something that would be unfair to her or future children? Talk about those kinds of things first. You need to be sure you both are on the same page about these issues. Love, trust, commitment, before you get to the money part. After that, you can hopefully have a conversation about what fair really means to both of you and work toward an agreement that you can both feel good about. Prenup wife here who keeps completely separate finances from her husband, hand-waving light skin tone. We were in a similar situation when we got married and we both wanted a prenup for different reasons. I'm a few years younger, went to grad school, and thus has more debt, and am a few years behind him on joining the real world. His investments, savings, etc., were all much further along than mine. She's right, it is absolutely a legally binding agreement that protects your interests. And you're not wrong for wanting to protect what you have worked for on your own. Pre-marriage, you're definitely entitled to that, as are all single people who have made good investments. Emo. It has nothing to do with trust and is just good common sense. If you move forward with a prenup, it will include a snapshot of your finances on the day that you sign to indicate and preserve what is individual property before your date of marriage, after which, depending on your state laws, most everything become marital property regardless of something being solely or jointly titled. Now, how your prenup is set up regarding marital property can go a variety of different ways and is up to both of you. My attorney explained it to me as a document defining the laws of our marriage, instead of letting your state laws define the terms of your marriage. What it says depend on what you both want and the marital laws in your state. If you decide to go this route, warning that many of the convos and negotiations are going to be tough and emotionally charged. My girlfriend always tells me when I ask her to drive safely that I won't crash. Don't worry. As if that or getting divorced is something that people plan for. In the event that you do get divorced, what's stopping your now upset ex-wife from taking half of what you have or half of what is meant for your parents? Literally nothing. Protect yourself. She will have to decide if this is a deal breaker, which it shouldn't be. Get a prenup. I don't care how happy and in love you are. Protect yourself at all costs. If she can't understand that, she's not the one. I ended up wishing I'd had a prenup. Not to keep my ex from my assets, but from my debts. I owned a business before we got married and it failed pretty miserably about 2 years into our marriage. Luckily it all got worked out. But he could have been equally liable for the business debts, which would have really screwed us. Prenups are just good common sense to me. And don't necessarily have to say, you don't get any of my stuff. You can customize the agreement to something everyone is comfortable with. ETA. Regardless of whose name in on the note. I can see why your partner doesn't like the idea that it will your house and not theirs as well. Personally, I'd think about running that back and have a conversation about partnership in the home. You may not need a prenup depending on the law where you are. Where I live in the US, any assets obtained prior to marriage are not in play in the event of a divorce and division of assets. I can appreciate why she's upset, but this is a business thing. And as she's not contributing to the purchase or mortgage, it makes no sense that she'd be on the deed. It can still be our home from a social standpoint, but it quite literally is solely your asset. The prenup is there so you two have a choice of what to do in case you split up. That way the government doesn't choose for you, potentially leaving one of you with less than what you need. It's a lot easier to do when you're on good terms as well. I would be okay with a prenup regarding rental properties purchased before marriage. But at the same time, I would expect to have some equity into any place I was living and investing either time or money into. A prenup is reasonable, but extensive discussion is necessary. Marriage is also a legally binding agreement that also does not protect your assets from her. Info. Would she pay anything toward mortgage and upgrades in the home? If so, then that is selfish and she should be entitled to a percentage of what she contributes. Get dat prenup, brother. If you didn't trust her, you wouldn't marry her and you would just live together. Her answer is just a way for her to make you think you are insulting her and avoid having a concrete conversation. Prenups make everything more transparent, so she could also put things on the prenup. It's not only about what you want on there. I would tell her that you want to have a productive conversation and not one in which she gets defensive and puts words in your mouth. If they won't sign a legal notarized prenup, do not marry them, period. Trust me on this, been divorced 3 times. It's your money and your assets that you want to protect. I personally disagree with her that it's a trust issue or an attack on her character, because it's not. I believe that if she loves you unconditionally and loves you for you and not what you can give her, then signing a prenup shouldn't be a problem. Not only secure your assets but also put in a cheating clause for the both of you in it. She believes that it is a legally binding agreement that protects my investments from her, therefore demonstrating a lack of trust. Red flag. Why is she so averse to you keeping your own premarital assets? Think about that for a second.
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Ericast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.